Hello, good evening. This is the SAP IP Business Talk, and you see it. We are on Thursday this time because we were not able to broadcast it yesterday. So we choose Thursday, and I hope you're not too much confused about this difference. It was important for us to take the opportunity to talk with our guest today. It's Robert Henke, and I'm very, very happy that Robert is here with us because he and his law firm, his firm, really makes a different approach on the question: how should law firms behave? What should they offer? What is the client relationship? So there is a lot where Noventive is different, and we would like to talk about that today. Also, obviously, about the social media activities, the LinkedIn questions which we typically have in that format. And this is what we want to do today. You are invited. Please ask questions directly here. We can see that in our broadcast studio, what you are asking or comment, or when you want to make comments. You are very warm welcome about that. And we will pick that up, and I will ask that also to Robert when it's necessary and when it fits. And you are invited to integrate you in our discussion. So, Robert, thank you very much for being with us today. Great honor. Just tell us a little bit. What is your background? Where you're coming from? I mean, no kid is waking up in the morning and says, I want to go into the IP business. So that's not the typical way. So mostly we come from other career paths, and then we enter the IP world. And also a little bit about your approach, the firm, what you're doing, just that we understand a little bit your background better.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you very much, Alex, for the invitation. I feel honored to be part of this IP talk. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, who am I? Yeah, you mentioned it. First name Robert, last name Henke. Born and raised in Munich. And indeed, I didn't wake up and my wish was to be a business development guy in the IP industry. That is correct. So where do I come from? I studied business economics in Munich. So quite traditional way after going to school. And how did I come in the IP industry? That was, one of the best friends of the family of my father at that point in time, who was managing director of, let's say, a startup in the IP industry, and he was involved at IPEN before, CPA, Dennemeyer, and multiple service providers in the industry. I was finished with my studies, and he asked me, hey, do you want a job? I said, okay, tell me about it. And he said, yeah, IP, XYZ, didn't understand anything. But at the end of the conversation, he said, you will never be unemployed if you prove that you're able to do this kind of work, be successful. I said, oh, now I'm listening. So I said, yeah, give it a try. And that company was Practice Insight, called at that point in time. That was 2015. That was part of the IPH Group. IPH Group is a big conglomerate of international IP firms, mainly in Australia, Asia Pacific. In the meantime, they are active in Canada as well, but a big IP law firm conglomerate at the end of the day that also purchased that software company. So my beginning was the law firm industry, let's put it that way, and a big focus on business development, because the software we were building and were selling from Munich was a software that showed the international case exchange. So the whole reciprocity game, who is filing with whom, in which country, and so on. So that was my first touch with the IP industry, focus on German-speaking market, but then also Europe. And yeah, I was there around 4 years. The software products were sold to CPA in the meantime for a few million. And then I decided I want to know a bit more about the industry side, the corporate side. So I left Practice Insight and I joined Parvis. So great German company in my point of view in the IP space. And yeah, was there around 3 years. Met a lot of.
Is that a company? I thought this is a kind of association, Pavis. It's
It was
Genossenschaft.
in Germany. It's called Genossenschaft. I think in English it's cooperative. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Parvis was sold in 2018. So to an investor. And at that point in time, the Parvis, the business model changed a little bit. So they started doing business development, started hiring real salespeople at the end of the day. And I was part of that with my boss. Then he asked me to join, and I said, want to do it. And I learned a lot about the industry side, the corporate side, still a lot of contact with law firms because Parvis serves law firms and also industry clients, a market leader in annuity payments in the German-speaking market at least. Parvis was sold to Questel in the meantime then, so I learned a bit about Questel as well. Again, a bit more international. And in April last year, I joined Noventive. And here I'm now responsible for business development. And I think my background was kind of very good fitting because of my law firm knowledge, my industry knowledge, at least in the German-speaking market. And Noventive is at the end of the day a tech company and a IP law firm with a different approach. That's my story, my background.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So let's start talking a little bit about the market. So what do you think? What clients expect today from an IP law firm, and how do you think law firms in the IP field should position themselves? What is your perspective on that today, and what do you expect for the future, for the, let's say, near future?
Yeah, sure. To start with a little bit social media, and then I would like to go a bit more into some other stuff, put it that way. To be visible, in my point of view, is extremely important. If you know someone and then meet him again and again, and you know that he is providing, good
he could be a she, right?
He could be a she. Sorry, he, she, or it, whatever. Definitely, it's from a personal branding perspective. That's what I mainly do. It's really personal branding at the end of the day.
What does that, Robert? What does that mean? So when I look at your LinkedIn profile, you have right now 1,200 followers, and you post also on a quite regular basis, but not that often. So once a month, for example. So just to understand that, what is personal branding in your opinion?
In my opinion, it's really stay engaged with the people that are interested in what you're doing at the end of the day. I need to admit, I'm no social media expert. I'm no LinkedIn expert. I never did something like a further training, whatever. In my point of view, it's simply, okay, there is some input that people like, they're interested in, people you worked together in the past. And the people stay engaged with you. They read your name again. They read the name of your company again. And that is simply in my point of view, what social media is. Of course, you need to provide some value as well. What I am doing is not professional at all at the end of the day. I mean, when I'm on a conference, of course, I like to post a nice picture, maybe with a colleague, where we have been, and write some notes, what we learned at the end of the day. But it's okay. It's just
Yeah, but
providing
I
a
mean,
little bit of
I
value.
mean, that is yeah exactly what I understand, and I mean, who is an expert in that? I mean, it
Yeah,
is a phenomenon with which we have to deal with, yeah.
yeah,
But this is exactly what I learned from these posts from the INTA this
yeah,
year. That I mean, it's a big difference when you make a post in which you just show to others, I'm in Singapore,
yeah,
I have parties and drinks. So yeah, okay, but is that something which is relevant for any audience, for any target group? Does that
again,
generate anyhow conversion? Is that interesting for clients? So I don't guess.
no,
Yeah, simply. But there were some posts which were very clever. So nearly the same, but they reported about I attended this and then this and that meeting, this and that lecture or presentation. I learned something there. And the message to the clients is, I'm here for you. I'm here to gather the worldwide knowledge on brands, trademarks, and I try to become the best possible consultant for you, dear client. And so I'm traveling to Singapore. So it's very close, but the understanding is completely different.
100% agree. 100% agree. When I started doing posts, I was the guy that sent a picture and that's it. Of course, it gained some likes, like 30, 40, whatever. But did I really gain value? Not at all. But even just this picture, okay, Singapore is very expensive. If I would be a client, I would say, okay, enjoy it. I pay for it, kind of. But it's staying engaged, at least for on a personal perspective, has some value. I mean, even if you just post a picture and you see, okay, XYZ liked it, give him or her a call next week and say, hey, I saw you like my post. How's it going? What are you doing? Can I do something with you? Whatever. It's always
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. I
something
mean,
you can use.
yeah, that is such an important point, this engagement. So I mean, what I'm also observing is that some guys are really behave like radio stations. Yeah, they just pump it out and they don't care about likes, about discussion. I mean, that is in my understanding maybe the most important thing. That is the social aspect of social media, that you try to get in contact, to stay in contact, to see what people thinking, what people are doing. And exactly what you say, you have always something to talk about, to start a discussion.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot. But again, I would like to it's we come to that later maybe. I'm just would like first to understand what your approach at Noventive is, and what is this interlink between being a law firm, being a technology company. I think that's so. The first thing what comes in my mind is that when you approach other law firms, that they think you are a competitor, and because you are also a law firm. So, why is that decision made to making both?
Let's start with the vision of the Noventive Group. I mean, as you said, it's a technology company and an IP law firm. The vision of the Noventive Group is really to protect the most innovative ideas with the latest technologies. The law firms, the patent attorneys, work with the most innovative players in the market. The inventors, scientists, whatever. People that invent something. But at the end of the day, most of the law firms are not really innovative itself. That is what we noticed. That is what I noticed in the past 8 years since I'm in the market. They are providing great work. You have to admit that, but really being innovative is something different.
I can stress that completely. So that is what I learned from the Norwegian Patent Office, from the head of the Katrina. She was invited in Strasbourg to give a speech, and she talked about the innovativeness of the IP system and the absence of that. And also of the players in the IP system, and we make a big study right now across Europe about the consequences of the digital transformation for IP experts, and nearly all of them told us that that innovation is nothing which is inside of the IP system. So it's even so. What happened during Corona was really disturbing, and it changed something, but it is not really seen as a chance for being innovative. It is simply an additional burden for lots of them.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, digitalization, let's say proper digitalization, is the key or the game changer. The issue is that in the market, most of the people just did the first step of digitalization. They did digitization, what at the end of the day is just putting a paper file process into an electronic process. Okay, you can work now from anywhere. That is great. You have a software, great as well. But are your processes really more efficient at the end of the day? Most of the time, the answer is no. And at Noventive, we have the technology company and the law firm because we, or let's say the founders, noticed you cannot, there is no software that is really fit to your needs if you want to build a completely digital IP law firm from scratch. That was the reason why both companies were founded. And with that skills, let's put it the skill set, the digitalization as a mindset, digitalization as an enabler, we go out in the market. What does that mean? Let's start with simple service orientation. What should be self-explaining in kind of any industry when you work with a client. In the IP industry, at least in the past, it was not always the case. What does that mean? Transparency when it comes to processes or costs. Reliability. Being on time. Providing planning security. So ask yourself, what does a client really expect from you? What does he or she wants? And that is, who is working on my invention, case, whatever? When is it finished? And what are the costs at the end of the day? These are, in my point of view, the three main topics a client wants to know. That is transparency, planning security, and cost efficiency at the end of the day. And you're just able to provide this when you have the environment around it. Let's put it an operating system that enables you and your coworkers, paralegals, attorneys, to focus on value creation. And that is how we as Noventive go out in the market. We deliver something, but also the mindset. We want to be a partner plus a future-proof partner. And that is the reason why we have a technology company and a law firm, because there are new challenges in the IP market. You need the IT skills to support the client processes at the end of the day. I mean, how does the traditional law firm work? Yeah, sorry.
You don't think that the Yeah, no, don't worry. I mean, I just try to get an understanding, to get a grip on what you're saying. And isn't that self-evident for every IP law firm that they can offer that kind of information and that planning grounds and say, okay, this and that will happen?
At the end of the day, yes, but look at the past 10 years, how much movement was in the IP law firm space. There is a reason why Questel, Anaqua, Clarivate, Denemeyer, you name it, are becoming more and more market shares of annuities, validations, translations, all the mostly administrative stuff, tasks. The law firms made most of the money in the past. They
Yeah,
didn't
that,
neglect.
we should be precise here. Money means profit because
Yeah,
it is administration, and
yeah,
that creates easy profit,
yeah.
and it is even scalable. I mean, that is also a reason, I would say. So when you have the resources, then you can make it cheaper. And I mean, you studied business administration, so it's relatively simple to calculate that,
Yeah.
and that means you have here economies of scale. So the bigger the partner is, the better the cost position, and so in this kind of administrative things, a law firm can never compete against a Questel or a Denemeyer.
Not anymore. And at the end of the day, now you shouldn't try to compete with that big corporations. You need to collaborate with them. So collaboration is key nowadays as well. You shouldn't see everyone as a competitor. Denemeyer Parvis always was kind of seen then as a competitor, but at the end of the day, they are where they are because they didn't neglect digitalization. And that is at the end of the day the key, kind of.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that is a very important insight that you can say we have not since yesterday, and not because of AI, generative AI, whatever, or LinkedIn. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that the digital transformation comes into the IP system. It is a process which dates back many years, at least 10 years. So I'm in that business for nearly 20 years, and it started really with this kind of discussion, and the law firms in that time were really extremely conservative, and told us again and again things cannot be done simply because they have to be done in the way how it was always done.
yeah,
And then the upcoming of that big service providers, where they made they used the digital transformation and changed all of that business, and really squeezed out this profit aspects of the law firms, and simply this is ongoing. I mean, that is I think, it is not, it does not stop. It won't ever stop as long as we see economic driving forces behind that. We will say that transformation, and people will do that. And I
yeah,
mean, this is one of the outcome of our study. It's not finished so far, but what we see is that right now these early, name it early movers, but I don't think it's early. The law firms, the experts who are on LinkedIn, who, as you said, showing up, communicating, creating engagement, they get so much from the cake. This is unbelievable how
yeah,
good their conversion rates are, and that people really going to them so looking for consulting because they are close, they are near, they see them simply,
yeah,
and people, the IP experts who are not there, cannot take part of this market. And this, I mean, it is obvious, it happens in the presence, everybody can see that, but at the same time there are law firms and IP experts who, yeah, duck and cover and say, oh, this has nothing to do with me. I mean, that's the same thing like with Questel, like with Denemeyer, Parvis, and saying this has nothing to do with me, when they get all these administrative tasks from me, and reduce simply my profit position here.
yeah. No, I have a quite interesting story here. I started in April last year, and of course, I do some calls. I call the people I know, and so on. And I had this one SME. let's say 20, 30 applications a year. This is kind of the average I'm talking about now. And I was there with a colleague, patent attorney, in the specific technology field, and we were saying, hey, we want to be a partner with you. How can we support you? What are your challenges? What are your goals for the next 3-5 years? Can we support you in a service point of view or a technology point of view? Can we develop something? Because we have the tech team as well. Can we support you in any way? And we will not send you an invoice for this 15-minute call, conversation, whatever. And I was shocked that not a single one of these companies told me that they were ever approached like this by a law firm. Law firms are coming and saying, hey, hi, and so on. But to really act like a partner, not just a service provider, is obviously something that is not usual in the market. And even that simple step is a USP.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously there are some very, very good examples. No question, no doubt about that. But I think that the question is, I had a wonderful discussion with I think it's a litigator, and we talked about, and I talked about approaching target groups. Mm-hmm. Okay, and saying, okay, basically you should use LinkedIn. It's the best way to promote yourself, who you are, what you're doing, and providing relevant content for your target groups. And he asked me, what is a target group? So I mean, yes, I understand that as IP expert, you're not a marketing expert, and that's why I asked you about these self-branding. What does that mean? Yeah, and you said, "Naya, I want to be present there. I want to be seen as an individual." But the next step is, when we talk about branding, we talk about attractiveness. So why do you think you are attractive? And we talk here about a qualification which is very wide, similar. So I can go to this litigator, I can go to that litigator. So why are you different? And this is what you say. So in my ears, what you're saying is, I really try to take care that my clients feel well with me, and that they understand that I'm here for them, and that is an attitude, yeah. And that is interesting that it is changing, and the ones who are quicker than others and more consequent get more and more market shares.
Definitely. I mean, if you're visible, you're visible. If you're not visible, you don't even have the chance to win something at the end of the day. Of course, when you look at the law firm, not every patent attorney is automatically a good business development guy. That is completely okay. I can't write a patent application as well. What is okay as well. But then you really need to find people that are doing it for you. And there are very, very less law firms in the market that do proper business development. That is just starting with the big ones. But in Germany, most of the law firms are small and medium sized, let's say 3 to 8 attorneys. That is the typical law firm size on average in Germany. And even they need to do something.
Yeah, of course. I mean, simply, also in our study, a patent attorney told me that we talked about how his LinkedIn approach is, how he wants to generate visibility, and what that means. As you said, communication, and I don't have time for that. So, yeah, I understand, but the problem is when you need your network, when you need your community, you don't have the time then to establish it. So it is feeding it at a point of time, making business development when you don't need it, because when you need it and nothing is there, and you start, then you have a problem. Yeah,
Definitely.
and clients changing, and also these enormous loyalty between industry and law firms is also changing. So we see more and more that also clients are willing and really acting and changing in the direction of law firms which are more attractive for them, or especially the IP experts who are more visible and really try to understand what the clients what they really want. And most of the cases it's not just the next patent. I mean,
No,
it's what you say. It's the kind of service level, the consulting environment.
it's the clients, the companies took over the control because they noticed that there is no movement at the law firm side. That is simply as it is. I mean, why are these big corporations just do kind of ghostwriting at the end of the day? I mean, here, ghostwriting, all of the process around it, I do it by myself because I can do it better. I have better software solution, better IT experts at the end of the day. And that is going down to the small and medium-sized businesses as well. They start thinking about it. I mean, what I like to highlight is definitely I have a lot of respect of these former, or let's say the more experienced patent attorneys, that they built this extremely strong client relationship. That is incredible. I love it. But it's really, as you mentioned, it is changing. I see it on the phone. I wouldn't say every day, but definitely on a regular basis that the people are open-minded. They want to hear something, listen to something that is new, a new approach, another approach, further USPs, real USPs. And yeah, so you shouldn't, you should really adapt to that and
Yeah.
don't.
And I mean, this is what we all observe every day. Yeah, so we are used as simply as customers. Everybody's a customer. Yeah,
Yeah,
and we are used to a certain, let's call it service level. Okay, so digitalization comes with a certain promise of getting services, and we expect from companies which we hire, from service providers which we working with, we expect a certain service level, and I guess the time is sooner or later over where you can say, yeah, sorry, I'm a patent attorney or trademark attorney. I'm doing it in that way, and that's it. Okay, when you want me, we do it the old school style and nothing else, because this is the only thing how the things work. And I guess also in the companies, startups, tech companies, we have heads of IP who need a certain service level for their money, for their budget, and um, and so it is not really an advantage not to adapt and not to. I mean, I wouldn't say being innovative. That's not necessary. It's just
no, it's not.
adapting. Yeah, I mean, um, when you agree on that, so just um, generating a customer experience. That's the next thing. I mean, I'm discussing that with law firms. What is a customer experience? What is a customer journey? What do you mean? Yeah, and all what I did is I checked whether I can jump from the LinkedIn profile to the website. Yeah, and that what the website is saying is consistent with what the LinkedIn profile is saying. That was all. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I said, I think you are not really consistent in your customer journey. Question: what is a customer journey? Yeah, and I guess and I mean, we have today a certain expectation how an IP expert should behave, should be visible. And when you do not fulfill that, you have a dramatic market disadvantage.
You definitely have to question any existing process and think it from the client side. That is what we did. Where are touching points with the clients? How can we do it better? How can we use
Yeah.
digitalization?
Yeah. So now turn it into positive. Okay. So we are too negative here. I mean,
Yeah.
how can when IP attorneys work with Noventive, how can they profit from it, benefit from it? I mean, simply that I think the first step is that you come with this digital approach and try to help. But can you explain it a little bit more concrete?
Yeah. Um, what we are doing, or what we thought of doing, we are doing, is we want to see the patent attorney, the paralegal, also as a client. We, as a law firm construct, want to treat them as a client as well, because at the end of the day, the professionals needs to be enabled with digital products to do what they love, what they can do best, and you need to enable them to focus on value creation. No administration, hierarchies, whatever. That is what we did with this operating system, so that the professional can focus on value creation at the end of the day. But also, you need to be kind of an attractive employer, put it that way. I mean, that goes hand in hand at the end of the day. But new work, what is not new anymore, but in our business, yes, still flexibility. Okay,
But that,
flexibility is an individual thing at the end of the day.
yeah, Robert, I think that what you say is also something very, very interesting. It's the employer brand. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the whole community is crying about we don't get Patentfachangestellte, we don't get enough people. We need more. We need the next attorney, and then they come to me and say, could you make a post about that? And it is fascinating. And then I'm checking what they're doing and say, are you really think that you have a good employer brand? Next big thing is that, look, half of your attorneys are not on LinkedIn. They do not post. I have no feeling for what the law firm stands really, why they think they are different, in which kind they are different. Nothing. So when it is completely exchangeable, why do you think somebody would like to become a partner, would like to work with you and for you? Do you really think it helps just offering a job? I mean,
yeah,
we have very well educated people here, very well trained people, and they expect a certain working environment, and the employer brand plays an extremely important role today, and it is created on LinkedIn. Obviously, I mean, it is also a job portal.
yeah. Definitely. I mean, you need, as a law firm, you need to ask yourself, what does your employee want? What does an attorney want? An attorney wants to work flexible, as mentioned. It's an individual thing. If you're a father of a family and you want to spend time with your kids during holidays, you probably will rather work at night, whatever. If you want to go skiing on Wednesday because the weather is good and the ropes are not so full, you go skiing on Wednesday and work on Saturday. That should be possible. When there are 30 degrees outside, you don't have to sit in the office with a tie on and your suit. Why? If your family is in Amsterdam and you want to be in Amsterdam as well, you can reply to this office action in Amsterdam or in Munich or in Düsseldorf. It makes no difference. But as far as I know, and the people are speaking about it, there's a lot of trust issues if the people are really working. I mean, COVID changed something, definitely. Definitely to the good, home office and so on. I know a patent attorney that needed to file an application 2 weeks ahead to do home office the next Friday. But there is so much room for improvement to be more attractive. Even an open error culture is something new in the market, at least as far as I know. Collaborating, not competing within the firm. Simple, self-explaining steps to be attractive, that people like to work with you. That is something even an USP, and that is kind of sad to say, in my point of view.
Yeah,
Don't know what
I
you
got
think
you.
about it.
I got you. Yeah, I mean that is really something very beneficial and positive, that you can establish you and the law firm as an attractive employer. I talk a lot with law firms about training programs. So offering training programs. We have a wonderful cooperation with Eisenführ, for example, Eisenführ Speise in Germany, who offer their young IP professionals that they could attend our program, our master program, and our diploma, especially because it's distance, and they use it as to show to the young talents that the law firm really takes care to for their young talents, to improve them. And as our program is IP management program, so to improve them, not just being a lawyer or an attorney, but also improve a deep understanding of the economics behind IP, of the management decisions which the companies have to make, and where the attorney should have an understanding and being seen from the company as a partner, as a knowledge source. So there are many ways of being an attractive employer. So the question is, so what exactly is Noventive then offering? Is it a kind of a process software which helps to digitalize a law firm? Is that a good characterization?
It's difficult. We're not a software provider at the end of the day. We have our own technology to work as a law firm, modern, innovative, efficient, but also kind of a client portal for let's say clients that don't have an IP management system. We want to give them a hand to make the step into the digital future easy, as a further USP kind of. If a client has an IPMS, we do an interface. So at the end of the day, the tech company is the operating system for IP. At the moment, we focus on the law firm, but of course, in the future, maybe we will do it for other law firms as well. Time will show us, but the Noventive vision is a bit bigger than that, but it needs time. But what we are doing works, and I notice it every day.
Okay. Yeah. So coming back to our initial question. So what do you think about the LinkedIn presentation from Noventive? Is that something which is a good example how it should be made?
I would say it's a first step, but definitely not good enough. We or I are working on that to do it more professional, more regular, but we are on a good way at the end of the day. But of course, there is a lot of room for improvement, but at least we are visible at some point in time. We are at an IP service world, at a PAD info, whatever, we are visible. On social media, maybe not enough, but the follower numbers are growing, so we are going into the right direction at the end of the day.
Now I have a question from Javier Varisco. Thank you very much for that. This is interesting. I would like to ask you that and try to be short in the answer because we're running out of time otherwise. He asked, how is the relationship between Noventive and the in-house attorneys?
The in-house attorneys from the corporations, I guess.
I guess, otherwise you wouldn't call them in-house.
The relationship is our approach is the client just speaks with the attorney that is doing the work. So at the end of the day, the patent attorney just speaks with this in-house attorney, and they work together very good via the software from time to time. So it is a collaboration portal at the end of the day as well. So no need for emails and so on. If you want to do a call, do it, but it's all digitalized, if that answers the question.
I guess so, yeah. And Javier said he means the firm, the in-house at the end in the industry firm. Yeah. So Robert, thank you very much. That was very insightful. I think we talked a lot about the community, the IP community, and how it is changing. So all the best for the moment. We will make a post, a summary, the learnings, and we offer also, maybe the audience saw that already, we offer via i3PM, the International Institution for IP Management, we're offering learning tools, videos, especially on about using LinkedIn as a tool, and also from this learning from today, from our interview partner Robert Henke, we will summarize that and also offering learning tools. So thank you very much, Robert, and enjoy your day, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you for the attention to all, and have a nice day.